Chapter 2, Section 4 is solving multi-step inequalities. We need to solve these inequalities and then we need to graph the solution. So the first thing we're going to do is distribute the negative 4, and that becomes 8 is less than or equal to negative 4d minus 4. From there you add 4 to both sides, and that becomes 12 is less than or equal to negative 4d. Solving for the d, you're going to divide both sides by negative 4. Whenever you multiply or divide by a negative, you have to switch your sign around. So 12 divided by negative 4 is negative 3. Negative 4 divided by negative 4 cancels, and that just becomes d. So this is read negative 3, bigger than, because that's the big side, or equal to d. You can also flip that around and write it the other way. And the advantage of doing it that way is you can have the negative 3 right there. And since the variable is on the left-hand side, your arrows should match. This arrow goes to the left, this arrow goes to the left. That only works if the variable is on the left-hand side. Next one, there's a lot of negatives in here. So we're going to start by adding 6 to both sides. Negative c over 2 is greater than negative 2. We have to get rid of this 2 and this negative up here. So we are going to multiply both sides by a negative 2. Whenever you multiply, you have to switch your sign around, and those things cancel. And you have c is smaller than 4. You have an open circle here on the 4, and it says c is smaller than, so everything here to the left side, colored in. Next one, I always get rid of the variable that's smaller. This is negative 2n and negative 4n is smaller. So I'm going to start by adding 4n to both sides, and that becomes 5 plus 2n is greater than 8. And then if I subtract 5 from both sides, that becomes 2n is greater than 3. And when you divide both sides by 2, n is greater than 3/2. Open circle on 3/2. This is the bigger side, so n is bigger than, and everything this way is colored in. Number 4, first thing we do is distribute the negative. We distribute the negative 6. Negative 6x plus 6 is greater than or equal to negative 14x plus 70. From there, we add 14x to both sides, and you have 8x plus 6 is greater than or equal to 70. Subtracting 6 from both sides, you have 8x is greater than or equal to 64. And when you divide both sides by 8, you have x is greater than or equal to 8. Close circle here on the 8, and everything bigger than that colored in. Number 5, we're going to subtract 6h from both sides, and you end up with negative 18 is smaller than 1. And you've noticed that we got rid of all the variables, but negative 18 is smaller than 1. That's always going to be true. So you can either say that all reals are the solution. Right now, you guys only know real numbers, so all real numbers, or you can say there are infinite solutions. Number 6, negative 2n, negative 4n. Negative 4n is smaller, so I'm going to get rid of that. Adding 4n to both sides, that becomes 5 plus 2n is greater than 8. Subtracting 5 from both sides, you have 2n is bigger than 3. And that is exactly the same question we did up here for number 3. And I think you might have a different one in your notes right there. So I'm going to skip over that one. Number 7. First thing I need to do is put like terms together. 7j minus 4j is 3j plus 6 is less than negative 2 plus 3j. And when you subtract 3j from both sides, you have 6 is less than negative 2. Well, a positive 6 is not smaller than negative 2, so that means there is no solution to this one. There will never be a solution to that inequality. Number 8, Snap Fitness has 2 different plans. You can pay $99 for an unlimited monthly membership, or you can pay $15 plus $8 each time you go. So the question is, when is this one going to be less expensive? So $99 will be a flat fee, or 15 plus 8x. And you want to know when the unlimited plan is more expensive. So this one is more expensive, so you want to know when that's greater than. So subtracting 15 from both sides, you have 84 is less than 8x. And when you divide both sides by 8, you get 10.5 is greater than x. So 10.5 is greater than x, or we could say x is smaller than 10.5. So originally, this one will be less expensive, and eventually the $99 will be more expensive, and you can't pay for half of a visit to Snap. You can't go in there and say, I'm only working out for half the time I usually do, so only charge me half. So this will have to be rounded up to 11. And basically, 11 or more visits actually, the unlimited plan will be more expensive until you get to 11 or more visits. At 11 or more visits, unlimited is less. I think that should be 10. Nope. 11 or more, the unlimited is less. That's correct. Number 9, you have $50 and you are saving $20 a week. So 50 plus 20x. Your friend has $200 and is spending $15 a week. So that's spending. And you want to know, when will you have more money than your friend? So when is that greater? So we start by adding 15x to both sides. And you have 50 plus 35x is greater than 200. Subtracting 50 from both sides, you have 35x is less than 150. Let me grab my calculator here. 150 divided by 35 equals 4.28. So x is less than 4.28. So at 4, you are less. And then at 5 weeks or more, I would say at 5 weeks, you have more than your friend. I'm just going to say after 5 weeks, you have more money. Number 10, Jenny is comparing 2 places for her wedding reception. First one is $2,000 to rent the room, and then $10 per person. And place B is just $80 per person. So we want to know when this one becomes more, when the second one is bigger than. Subtracting 10x from both sides, you have 2,000 is less than 70x. And when I take 2,000 and divide it by 70, we have 28.57 is less than x. So you can't pay for half a person, either you pay for them or not. So it is more expensive for Plan B after or at 29 people. And I'm going to skip number 11.